Start recording.
No.
Welcome to the
Inner City Geeks.
InnerCityGeeks podcast. This is episode 257. My dad's name is Steven, and joining us today is Brian.
Hi.
What's good, Brian? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I had Harley here, introducing the episode. Go lay down, baby. Harley, come on. What's up, dude? You're breaking up, Brian.
Oh, well,
Huh?
sorry. I said, well, I'm sorry. How's that sound?
You're good. Yeah, that sounds good.
Good, because we actually got a mic on this side of the table, so which is good. Courtesy.
Yay!
Bravo!
Yeah, yeah.
Bravo! You did well.
Yeah, and in the chats we got Alex in the chat right now.
What? He's in the chats? Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah.
Oh shit!
I can see it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So what's going on, Brian? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I actually just woke up right before we started recording because
Oh, nice.
I have because basically Megan and I went to go put the girls to bed, and naturally what you do is they curl up and you're like, well, you're a dad, and like they curl up with you and you're like, oh well, I guess I'm going to bed now, good night.
Yeah.
Later, and like
See that happens where when they're your kid's age. This one, on the other hand, is the complete opposite.
just the natural. I'm high on sugar, even though I had no sugar today. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
The Two Dads podcast.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Episode 257. My Two Dads. So I gotta say, it's nice having a microphone. Look at this. I feel
Hell yeah.
professional.
Hell yeah, it is. It is.
It has the swinging arm, the spit sponge, and the condom. Like, wow.
Doesn't it make it that much better?
It does, and you don't have the on my head.
Yeah.
Across my,
Yes, exactly.
my
No
neck.
cracklings. Yeah. It's pretty dope.
Right? Oh, Alex says we can't use My Two Dads because of copyright issues.
Well, not that. Well, you could use My Two Dads podcast. Doesn't necessarily have to be My Two Dads, the TV show.
Right. I mean, true point. But they're remaking everything nowadays anyway, so
Exactly. Might as well just have it as a podcast, right? It's only right.
Right? I mean, like I found out the other day they're literally in the. It just finished filming, but they remade Firestarter. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
Spielberg.
Why? Oh God.
Why not? It's gonna be dope,
Yes,
dude.
but
We spoke about it on the show a few weeks ago.
I wasn't on.
And I know you weren't. I know you don't listen when you're not on either. Okay. What do you? Okay, Ariana. Yeah, Ariana's over here. Ariana, you want to make a little guess hello on the show?
What? What do I do?
Just say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. You see, you have another one of my children here too.
Episode 257, making Steve's children famous.
I know, right? I know.
You get it.
Yeah.
But 257 episodes later, nobody cares. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, it happens though. It happens. It's all good though. Can't complain.
Look at it like this. But look at it like this. I rejoined the show, and then we have like 200 plus viewers. So
Right. Exactly.
Welcome.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah.
To everybody listening,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah. We needed the Great White Hype for a little while. Yeah, it's been a
That's
while.
right. You know, it
Yeah,
has.
yeah. It's all
Um,
good though. It's all good.
it's all good.
It's all good. So what's been going on, dude? It's been a week. So
It's
what's
been
been
a
going on
week.
with you, man?
It's been a long week. Uh, I forgot to mention last week that if people care, they don't just reply. um, so things are good. I forgot to mention last week I watched a couple of other movies.
Oh, nice.
I watched The Ice Road with Liam Neeson.
Put it back on the table when you finish, right?
Okay.
So basically, The Ice Road is Liam Neeson has a particular set of skills on ice in a truck. And it was okay. It was
Okay.
a Netflix movie. It was cheesy popcorn Liam Neeson skills kind of film.
Okay. Nice.
And yeah, it's worth watching. It's one of the better of the not taken films.
The not taken films.
Because right,
Doesn't it technically follow the same type of fucking premise as all the other ones?
Kinda. I mean, if it's his daughter, it's against him and other people, whether he knows them or not. And I mean, it should really all be one long film. It's been one long film since 2009, right?
Nice.
Because that's when
Yeah.
Taken came out. And so, Taken on Ice.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. All I needed was a musical. It was a musical
Oh,
number.
I was gonna say that the next film would be Taken the musical. So aside from that, another film I watched, which I thought was actually well done, was Vampires versus the Bronx.
Hello. I'm sorry.
So another film I watched was Vampires versus the Bronx.
That's a good one, dude.
It was actually really good. Those kids stole the movie.
Yeah, it's about them.
Yeah, like they were like what, 13? Maybe.
It's fucking good. It's fucking good.
And,
Yeah.
And like growing up, we all have that one guy. Yeah, like the bodega guy. Well, what was he, Tony in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all have a Tony. Like
We all have the bodega guy.
Yeah. Like for me as an older person, and I didn't really have one as a kid, but for me as an older guy, like my buddy Sammy is the bodega guy. Knows everybody, but Sam looks after the kids at the school across the street, and like everybody knows him. He knows their name, their mother's name, their teacher's name. And yes, they have a cat.
Yeah, you need a cat in the bodega. It's only right. It's not a real bodega without a cat.
Exactly. But no, the movie was actually really good, and it was like an hour and a half or a little less than, but it was like a good, fulfilling film.
Yeah.
And I really did not expect Zoe Saldana to be in there for like 2 seconds.
Yep. That's what I loved about it. The fact that she was only in there for like a quick second.
And she's credited.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they kind of have to credit her because, of course, they got to do that.
Yeah. So aside from that, I watched. God, what I watched just yesterday. I watched a movie called Take Me, done by the Duplass brothers.
Okay. They put out good shit.
They do. So Take Me is a dark comedy where this guy, actor director Pat Healy, is the main guy.
Okay.
He directed the film, but he's like the main guy. He has he's like a kidnap for hire business. Basically, you hire him to kidnap you for like 8 hours to get you out of like your worst thing, right? Like, the actor who played Jim O'Hare. He played Larry Jerry Gergich from Parks and Rec.
Okay. I could have swore you were about to start like a stupid rhyme or something, like a limerick. You were trying to start a limerick.
Just because I'm Irish, we don't do. Not all of us do limericks.
Yeah, you're only you're only leprechauns. It's okay. I got you.
So so anyway, so he isn't only in it for like the first like 2 seconds. His vice is like crappy fast food or whatever, and so
Mm-hmm.
this guy kidnaps him, and tortures him with this food to make him only want salad and start getting a
Interesting.
healthy lifestyle. And
Okay.
so he has this like kidnap solutions thing. And so uh, it's my Wi-Fi. I'll be right. All right, let's try that. All right, we good?
Okay. Yeah, you're
All
here.
right. Wow. My Wi-Fi was being weird just now.
That's what I kind of told her earlier. That's what I was trying to say earlier. That was being all funky dunky.
Yeah.
But you're
So
good.
anyway,
You're good now.
good. Um. So. So anyway, so like this guy has like a kidnap for hire thing. It's like kidnap solutions, and Taylor Schilling from Orange Is the New Black.
Oh, nice. Okay.
She was Piper. So she's in it where basically somebody hires him to kidnap her, but then she doesn't realize. Like he thinks it's her, but she's
Mm-hmm.
like playing it off for like, no, it's not me. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's like this whole long movie about you really kidnapped me, but he's like, no, I'm actually not a bad person. This is a job that somebody hired me
Okay.
to do. And then, like, at the end of the film, it's like, oh, yeah, I was just playing you. Like, I really was the one hired. But it's, like, so dark and stupid, but it's like, you can't look away.
Nice. I like it.
Worth watching. It's, like, an hour and 25 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
Long enough.
Well, long enough is good. It's good. It's good. It's good that something's long enough because you don't want it to be too short either. Like
Yeah.
some movies need a good amount of time so that way it builds into story and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of builds the atmosphere and then you get to see what the fuck is going on. You can't just throw everything. Well, you can, but then it's just like, okay, what the fuck just happened?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So aside from that, I haven't really watched anything else. Outside. Oh yeah. What I told you yesterday, I watched The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Oh yeah, how was that? You told me that you enjoyed it.
It was good.
For the most. Okay.
It was about as enjoyable as the first one. It's
okay.
Don't expect an Oscar-winning movie.
Yeah,
just expect Ryan Reynolds playing himself, correction. Expect Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool.
Okay.
Because it's now if you go back and watch every Ryan Reynolds film since Deadpool, you're like, oh, hey, yeah.
That's his thing. That's
Yeah.
He's basically typecasted as himself and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
See, and that's the thing with actors. Like that's what you would expect actors to do because of course, you want actors to be like, okay, yeah, I want to be just like this person. That you want them to enjoy what they're doing as that's why they're playing themselves.
Exactly.
For the most part.
So good popcorn flick. About as funny as the first one, from what I remember, because it's been about a year since I seen the first one. Definitely a setup for a third one, which I wouldn't mind a good like closeout film. Because there were some things left open.
Of course.
Like if it happens, it happens. Because I honestly did not expect a sequel to the film. But it was definitely one giant aviation gin ad.
That's only fair.
Like, it started as just a bottle in the background and became like Ryan Reynolds getting a shotgun blast to the chest, wearing Kevlar, but a shotgun blast to the chest into a full-on aviation display.
Nice.
So,
nice.
If that doesn't sell you that gin, nothing will.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually good gin, though.
Of course it is.
So...
Wouldn't
Aside from
expect it
that,
otherwise.
exactly. Aside from that, just continuing on with Superstore.
Hell yeah, that shit is a great fucking show, dude.
You're right though. It's one of the best written comedies in a long time.
Mm-hmm. It really
Like
is.
like we just started season 3.
Nice.
Yeah, the tornadoes.
Like they're honestly, there's honestly not a dull season for the show for me. Like I enjoyed the fuck out of the show from beginning to end. And I didn't binge it. I actually watched it like week by week by week.
Mm.
So I got
Experience.
the full experience of it. So binging it, of course, it could be a little, a little tiresome for some people, but
Yeah.
for me, it was a fun watch. Like whether it was even if it was just every other week, or when it was out, like I enjoyed the fuck out of it, and I'm glad that they've pretty much grown to be more than just what they were on the show.
Yeah, like we watched maybe like 3 episodes a night. Because like by the time like she's home, when we have dinner, whether we cook or we order or whatever, it's like
Mm-hmm.
3 episodes, maybe 4, depending on how we're feeling. And then like one of us, most likely her, will be like, "I'm tired, I'm gonna go to bed." And then like
Okay.
that's it. Then we watch like the next couple, or whatever, like a night later or 2 nights later. So
Nice.
yeah, it's binging, but it's not like overwhelming the brain.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So we still get sort of the full, cloud
Yeah,
nine.
you get the full experience for the most part.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Aside from that, just still doing yoga, the DDP experience.
Nice.
Today was day
How
6.
how are you feeling doing the DEP wise?
I feel good. I feel gym soreness.
Okay.
Like, you do 45 minutes worth of yoga, and it feels like you were at the gym for like 2 hours.
It really does.
It does. Like
It
right
really
now,
does because it burns.
yeah,
It's a
burns it
good
away.
burn though.
It's a good burn. Like my abs are still slightly sore from like 3 days ago from when I did the red hot core. And I'm a little bit sore on my arms from doing all like the touchdowns and stuff. And like the side bends, but like today my arms feel like I was at the gym earlier today or even like last night.
Nice.
I'm gonna do more tomorrow.
That's good.
Skip Sunday and then start again Monday. But yeah, it's
Hell
like,
yeah.
I'm not saying it's an overnight thing, as we all know.
Oh, it's definitely not. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not an overnight thing at all.
I've definitely noticed I've slimmed down a little bit since Chicago.
Okay.
Like the fast food Chicago, body inflation is gone. I'm back to my normal dad bod.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Not the fat dad bod.
Not the fat dad bod. The little bit less than
The regular the regular dad bod.
Right, but that's the goal. It's like, diet is key, of course, and
Of course.
and then just doing this and sticking with it. I'm looking forward to seeing what like I look like even like a year from now.
Yeah. Yeah. It all takes time. It all takes time. You just have to have the patience to actually, get there.
It does, and like what I think is pretty cool is that in the beginner, so on the DVD set, the beginner, the Diamond Dozen, but like for beginners, where he uses chairs just to show you like you can.
Yeah.
It's actually the whole workout's inspired by that guy Arthur, who was like the heavy, the vet that like doctors like were like, oh, you're never gonna walk on the system again, and like now he like the dude like runs track, and it's like so it's cool because like the guy showed that he can do it using a chair, and now it's incorporated into the routine where like, hey, if you're like this guy, you can use a chair. And like I needed for the lunges into the knee drop, I actually held on to something because I needed it.
Yeah.
So
and that's the good thing about it too. That's what I love about it. The fact that you can pretty much make it all your own.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to go exactly by the details that he gives you. You just be like, okay, I'm gonna adjust this so that way I can make it just a little bit easier for me to do. Especially if you're at the beginning stages. Like You're not automatically gonna get these things, so just
Right.
taking it easy and getting there is what's the best part about it.
It's finally like an instructional video where the person tells you, "Hey, take your time."
Yeah.
Not like, "Oh, we're gonna." The only way you take your time is if you like do the workout, then you hit pause and wipe away all the sweat, and then
Uh huh.
stop, and then do that.
Yeah.
This is like he'll literally tell you, like in the video, like you've got to hit pause, hit pause.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so like it's good.
If you want to sit this one out, you can.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
He's
aside
like,
from
oh yeah,
that,
drink some water, get your towel, dry off, and we'll get back into it.
exactly. But
Yeah.
I swear by it. So like anybody who's listening, like
It's
just
fucking dope.
do it.
Yeah.
As he says, not to like quote it or steal a line, but own your life.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
this is the best I felt in about 5 years.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you, bro.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Anything else to add?
No. Well, so what you got?
Oh, I've been watching a lot of shit, dude. I've watched a lot of shit this last week or so. So I got to see I saw Space Jam.
Okay.
I enjoyed the fuck out of it, honestly.
I'm
Like,
gonna still watch it. Like even
yeah.
though I read somewhere that the original director of Space Jam ripped
He's shitting
the
on
new
it.
one.
Yeah.
He was like, LeBron's not Michael.
Obviously.
Obviously, but he's also not trying to be.
Yeah. And the funny shit is, like, even in the movie itself, they kind of make fun of it. They're like, yo, like, this isn't what it was originally. Like, it's a little different. Like even they were just like, yo, like they kind of make fun of the fact that Michael Jordan isn't in it. And they're like, oh, we're gonna bring Michael Jordan in this, and they wind up bringing out fucking Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, oh, that's the wrong Michael Jordan. It's fucking hilarious. It does it, and like it plays with the DC universe. Well, not the DC universe, but the Warner Brothers world in its own little weird way. And it does it pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a fun watch. I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, it's amazing and it's gonna get awards and shit. It was good. It was worth it. It was worth the watch, and like I found it fun. Like I enjoyed the fuck out of it a lot.
Okay.
To the point that after we finish here, I'm gonna watch it with the kids too.
Nice.
Because it's fun. It's a fun watch. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It's pretty cool. Like acting wise, LeBron isn't as bad as you would think he would be. He was actually pretty good. Not of course not the best acting,
Right.
but you
But I
know,
mean, but he was good in what was it? Trainwreck was he in, or was it Cock Blockers? I forget. He worked in
he was also in the movie. I think it's like the Uncle Ted or some shit like that, or Uncle something that is basically like a whole bunch of NBA players playing old people.
Okay. I mean, it sounds familiar. Let's see. I'll pull up his IMDb. It was Trainwreck. He played himself.
Okay, well I didn't see Trainwreck.
Oh, Trainwreck is great.
Okay, well I think I did see Trainwreck, but I don't remember it.
But yeah, like he what you call it? He played
Uncle
himself.
Drew, Charlie in the chat says Uncle Drew. Yes, I do remember that movie. That's the one that I was talking about. That all the NBA players are pretty much playing old people.
I never saw it.
That's a good one. That's actually a pretty good. It's a pretty good watch.
Okay.
You should definitely check that out. But yeah, Space Jam was pretty cool. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It wasn't like, oh my god, this is so horrible. Like I went in expecting absolute dog shit.
Okay.
For real. Like no jokes. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be trash. I am going to hate this movie. And like 5 minutes in there, the beginning's kind of rocky because of course, you know, he's basically has like kind of like a shitty relationship with his kids because of course, you know, he's a superstar, and he's always on the road. He's always, like, oh, you got to make sure that you practice playing basketball. You do this and you do that.
Okay.
And the kid's like, yo, like, I want to do my own thing. He's like, no, you gotta do this. You gotta follow the line. You gotta, keep going and doing what I do. And it basically gets to the point that the kid's like, fuck it, all I want to do is play video games. And they kind of show that, like, when he was younger, like in the 80s, his coaches were like, yo, no, you're not allowed to play, video games. Not the 80s, in the 90s, because he had a Game Boy, and they like took his Game Boy away and they threw it out, and they were like, you need to focus on basketball and not worry about video games. And then he tried to do the same thing with his kid, but his kid, of course, the times are different. It's an interesting show. It's an interesting beginning. Not like I'm saying, it's not the best beginning, but it actually sets everything up for as the story goes, and it's a fun watch. Like, I enjoyed it. So if you want to see something that's a little different, and it's totally different than the original, like, yeah, it has the Looney Tunes in it, but it is something that's like, it stands apart from the original, which is something that I enjoyed too.
Well, I mean, they kind of do that. They kind of did that with Jumanji too, right? Like Jumanji, the original with Robin Williams is its own film.
Yeah.
Just like Space Jam, it's its own film.
Yep.
But then you have Jumanji 2, which was sort of a reboot, but also a sequel, paying homage to the original film.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, they kind of mentioned Robin Williams' character.
Yep.
And just like how Jumanji 3, which I still haven't seen, but like Welcome to the Jungle is sort of a reboot of the second Jumanji, but yet it's a sequel and a trilogy. Yeah. So, like, I like when films do that. They don't just, like, shit on the other movie and make it their own.
Yep.
So
that's what I enjoyed about it. I like that. I like those as well. Like, I don't remember if I've seen the whole third one, but I know I did see most of it.
Okay, yeah, I still haven't seen the third one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Another thing that I watched this week, so it's I've watched a bunch of shit. I've also watched a lot of wrestling, but before we get into the wrestling, let's keep going. Let's keep going with the shit that I've watched. I watched Near End on Shudder. Near End is it's old school vampire flick from the 80s. It's one of I think Renee talked about it last week.
I think so.
That's fucking dope. The only gripe that I have with it, it's an 80s fucking movie, so like spoilers don't fucking matter. The fact that this kid, he basically gets turned into a vampire, and then he's trying to, live the vampire life and shit like that, because of course, he's like, I can't live on the regular world and shit. I can't do the regular thing anymore. And at one point, they wind up finding their parents, like his dad and like his sister and shit, and the vampires are trying to kill them. And then he's like, no, we can't do that. And then he goes off with them. And then at one point, the father gives him a blood transfusion.
Okay.
And then it becomes normal. How that doesn't make sense.
No.
Because usually when you get blood from somebody else, that it just feeds you.
Right.
It doesn't. And then at the end of the movie, spoiler again, he does the same blood transfusion to the girl that he fell in love with, and then she becomes normal too. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? What kind of tomfoolery is this? But yeah. It didn't make any sense to me. Like but besides that, it is actually it's a pretty fun like vampire movie. There's a lot of good shit in it.
Okay.
They're not like, oh my god, they're gonna pop out their fangs and they're able to fly everywhere and do all that shit. It's actually like a grounded vampire flick, no special effects or anything. no real special effects, but it's pretty fun. It's a good watch.
Okay.
I watched that. Then I also watched the show on HBO Max called The Flight Attendant.
Kaylee Kuko, right?
Yeah, Kaylee
I
Kuko
heard.
from The Big Bang Theory and from Harley Quinn.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fucking good, dude.
I heard.
It is a
I heard good
really
things.
really good show. It's a really good show. Like it was I watched it in like a day and a half. It's like 8 episodes of like 40 minutes, eight episodes of 40 minutes long each. They're fucking good. It's a really good watch. It's a really really well drawn out story.
Because you were watching that in the middle of watching Money in the Bank.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, that was better than watching Money in the Bank. But we'll go back. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, we will. Oh God, yeah, we will.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, Flight Attendant is actually really good. It's basically follows uh Kaylee Cuoco's character as she's a flight attendant obviously, and she winds up having like a one night stand with a dude out in fucking like some other country or whatever. I think it's Thailand or something.
Okay.
And it turns out that the dude gets killed in the house in the in the hotel room that they're at while she's sleeping next to him,
Oh shit.
and she doesn't know what the fuck happened because of course they were both drunk.
Okay.
And then she's like, "Oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?" She winds up flying back home as a flight attendant, obviously.
Right.
And then she winds up having thoughts and dreams about the dude, and the dude is talking to her in the dream.
What?
It's fucking nuts. But it's really good. It's a really really good story. A lot of good actors in it. Of course, Kaylee Cuoco, but also Missy from The Doctor is in it too, from Doctor Who.
Okay.
She's in it. Rosie Perez is in it. She has a real weird role, but she's actually pretty good in it too.
Rosie Perez
Um,
kind of had like a career comeback.
yeah, she has. She's been doing a lot of good shit recently, and
Because she was in Birds of Prey too.
yeah, she was. She was awesome in that too.
She was.
Yeah,
The movie wasn't good, but she was good.
it was good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's actually one of the better DC movies.
Okay.
It's not. It's better than fucking Man of Steel.
Yeah. Well,
Because fuck that trash.
Don't let Mario know.
Yeah, he also.
Owns
Yeah,
like 70 copies of the film.
yeah. What the fuck, dude? I get it. You're a Superman fan. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. No. 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 It's okay. It's not bad, but it's not like, oh my god, it's horrible. Why am I watching this? Um. Yeah, but it's a good show. Definitely go check that out. Go check out The Flight Attendant. It's a good shit.
I'll look into
That's one more thing that I watched as far as horror. I watched it on Shutter earlier in the week. Super excited for it because I was like, oh, this looks pretty good. Another reason that I watched it is because one of my favorite podcasts, Scared to Death, they actually did on their Patreon. They did a whole thing. I don't subscribe to their Patreon, but they posted something on their Instagram. They were like, oh yeah, we're gonna watch this movie. This movie is called Terrified, and it's an Argentinian horror movie.
Okay.
It's all in Spanish. There's no like dubbing or anything, but it's all in Spanish. And it basically follows these paranormal investigators, and they're trying to find out what happened in this neighborhood. It's literally like a block. What happened on this block, and why the fuck is some crazy shit happening in here? And it's fucking nuts, dude. Like the entire time, it's like a good hour and a half, hour and like 35, hour 40 minutes. It's fucking good, dude. It's super fucking entertaining. Like there's so much shit in there. You're just like, holy shit. And you can tell that it's not like super high budget. Is there are some like shitty special effects in it, but
Okay.
it fits for what it is because it is paranormal stuff. So the paranormal stuff that you see is like, holy shit. Okay, that is creepy as fuck, but I like it and it fits. It's really fucking good. Like one of the things that happens in the movie is that this one kid, he's drinking water out of like a water fountain outside of the house or whatever, and he's like he hears voices from one of the apartments or whatever, and he starts walking back, and he winds up walking back into the middle of the street, and then a bus hits him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then cut to a few minutes later in the movie, the mother's like completely distraught and shit because these paranormal investigators come to her house. Turns out that the kid is back and he's sitting on the fucking at the dinner table, but he's like a corpse, like corpsed out, like gray face, dirt and sand all over his face. How the fuck did he get there? It's crazy, but it's really really fucking good the way that they did that.
Okay.
It is good. You should definitely check it out. It's called Terrified, or in Spanish it's called Aterados.
Okay.
And actually, like I basically put it up. I said that I enjoyed it on Instagram or whatever, and the director actually, thanked me for actually sharing it and stuff.
No shit.
Yeah, so the director, he gave me a shout out. He was like, "Yo, thank you for for giving it a shot." I was like, "Yo, it's a really good fucking movie." Yeah, so go check out Terrified on the Shutters. It's a really good watch. Um, and that leads us to some of the craziness that happened last weekend. This past week has been a crazy week for wrestling in general. Um, last weekend we had a Slammiversary for not Ring of Honor, but for Impact Wrestling. We had Slammiversary, and we also had Money in the Bank for the WWE. Both 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 of them happened on the same weekend, which is something that you don't usually expect to see for wrestling events to happen.
Right.
And one of them is better than the other. One of them is way better than the other. From as far as my standpoint and my viewings, I've watched both of them, and I was way more impressed by one and completely distraught by the other. It was bad.
Well, being that I didn't get to watch Slammiversary because I just didn't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
But Money in the Bank, it was kind of boring.
It was a lot of boring, dude.
Well, let me do the build.
I'm sorry.
God, why do I do the show again?
I know.
Why are we friends like 10 years? Why are you the uncle of my kids?
I know. I'm sorry.
So, it was really fucking boring. It had highlights, but you wouldn't know that because Peacock kept glitching.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, especially during the men's Money in the Bank, it was when the biggest amount of glitches happened, and it was just bad. It was just bad.
Yeah,
like,
not good.
I look, even though WWE has really been not good in the last couple of years, and by the last, I mean like since like the Attitude Era, like I always look forward to the Money in the Bank because it's a lot of action in the ladder match, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite Money in the Bank ladder match moment is when Shelton Benjamin ran up the ladder to go to the other ladder.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. So that might have been like the first one, I think. But we wouldn't get to know any of the excitement of this Money in the Bank ladder match because Peacock kept glitching. I reset during the Money in the Bank ladder match. I reset my internet. I reset my TV twice, and I reset just shutting off Peacock and turning it back on.
Yep.
And eventually, midway through the match, it decided to be fine again. Just in time for me to see Ricochet do some incredible work. But then that was the highlight of the match, outside of Big E winning the whole thing.
Right.
The rest of the match, there were good spots, and I'm sure there were other good spots prior to my witness, but I wouldn't know that because ever since WWE went to NBC, I'm not impressed. The network for the $9.99 a month, right?
Yeah.
Like the $9.99 a month, you got a lot more stability.
Mm-hmm.
But so what was this? Their second pay-per-view on Peacock?
Yeah. Because wasn't their first one on WrestleMania, or was that still on the or was that still on the network?
No, I think it was WrestleMania.
Okay.
So 2 pay-per-views in, and I don't know. I don't get the whole we need to go to Peacock. Peacock's a great app. It works for everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pay-per-view was kind of lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
The female Money in the Bank had its moments. They put on a good show toward the end. Other matches were kind of dull. What was the point in Charlotte Flair winning, just for Nikki ASH to get the title the next night on Raw?
Yeah.
The Edge Roman Reigns match. It's like, well, here we go. Reigns is still champion. Yay! But let's just keep going, because we gotta have, Reigns probably be the champion for the full year, and then we're gonna have clearly Rollins is gonna set it up where it's gonna be a fatal 4-way. It's gonna be Edge versus Rollins versus Reigns versus Cena because John Cena came back. And not a lot of boos.
Yeah, not that man. Like John Cena coming back wasn't like, why?
But it was good to see him again, though.
Yeah.
Because the thing about John Cena, granted, yes, he has a whole acting career now, but the thing about John Cena in the show in WWE is you can't deny his mic skill.
Oh, absolutely. He is
best.
He is really good on the mic. I give him that for sure. He is also he's a fan favorite, and I get it.
Yeah.
But they have so many other wrestlers in their roster that they can put over. Yeah. But they don't.
They don't.
They go to the easy way out, and they're like, oh yeah, here's somebody that you've seen for fucking 10 years, 20 years almost. And let's give him a title shot instead of giving somebody that's pretty damn good in the damn thing.
Once again, they're doing what they did when it was Edge versus Cena versus Edge. Edge versus Cena versus Edge tonight on Raw. And you're like, why?
Yeah.
Yes, these two wrestlers are great. And they work together well. There's a lot of in-ring chemistry between Adam and John. But bring on somebody new.
Yeah.
We don't need to see the constant repetitive thing.
It's like the rinse, reuse, and rinse, repeat. Rinse and repeat. Just keep going. Keep doing the same thing. Like you're fucking shampooing your hair.
Yeah.
It's fucking garbage. I'm sorry.
So SummerSlam is simply going to be, my prediction is that it's going to be Edge, Rollins, Reigns, Cena in a fatal 4-way. Because they're going to build something up where Rollins and Edge are going to go at it. Cena's going to keep talking trash against Reigns. And then they're going to probably strip Reigns of the title at some point. Because he's at 322 days as of last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you're gonna have him do the whole 365. Hey, he had his chance. He had his title.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put it on Edge because Edge only has like a year left in his tank. Maybe
Yeah.
just to close his
Well,
story,
yeah.
and then eventually maybe John Cena will get the title one more time. He'll be like the next Rock, you know,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
champion, leave to go to Hollywood, and then come back and be a champion for a short period, and then whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, WWE, like the only thing that came out of it was the fact that like uh Nikki got her chance, and
Yeah.
she actually was able to, and and she actually cashed it in the next night.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I don't understand the superhero gimmick thing because it didn't work with Hurricane Helms. It's not gonna work now.
Okay, see, the reason I think it's gonna work now, the reason I think that whole gimmick is gonna work now is because there are a lot of girls that are watching it now because the women wrestlers are actually decent. It's not about women's wrestling the way it was back in the day that women's wrestling was just like all sexy and shit.
It's not
Now,
right. The company's come a long way since the Diva Search.
right,
Well,
absolutely,
yeah, well, half the women in the Diva Search were like actual pro wrestlers.
right, or a hell of a long way since the fucking broad panty matches.
Yeah,
So like we've seen the evolution of the women's wrestling and the fact that the women's wrestling is actually pretty damn good. Whether it's in WWE or it's in AEW or anywhere else, the women's wrestling has actually become like way better than it was back in the day.
oh yeah. I mean, Britt Baker is one of the best of the best.
She's fucking fantastic.
I mean, she literally gets like hit in the face and is like, "Feed me."
Yeah, yeah. And not only her, but like Nyla Rose is great. Fucking of course people talk shit about Nyla Rose, obviously,
Of
but
course.
also Hikaru Shida is fucking fantastic. Who was the last women's champion? She had the title for over a year. Since before the pandemic even started, she won the title, and she
Yeah.
held it until recently when Britt Baker won it back from her. Um, all the women, Thunder Rosa, fucking fantastic. She was the NWA champion. She held the title in AEW for a long time. The NWA title while she was in AEW, and then she keeps doing shows in AEW as well as in MLW, and then she was recently in Slammiversary against their women's champion.
Okay.
So she's all over the place, and she's always doing her shit. She's fucking great. She's fucking fantastic, dude. She's one of my favorite women wrestlers to watch.
Okay.
And she's only been in it for like what, 6 years?
That's great.
She's really fucking good, dude. She's really fucking good. Um, there's a lot of good women's wrestlers out there, and like that's why I think the gimmick is gonna work because there are a lot of girls watching it, and there's a lot of and that's kind of like a good role model. And I watched in one of the interviews that she did with R Truth during one of those stupid shows or whatever, like Raw Talk or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was basically like, yeah, like I know I'm not a real superhero. I know I don't have powers or anything, but like I'm doing this so that way the girls and the people can see that all I want to do is basically show you that you can do it and that I can be the best that I can be.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lift everybody or I'm gonna do it. It's more like, yo, like I want to be good so that way people can see that I'm good.
Okay. But I mean, they must really be high on her right now if like she got the title.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, got the briefcase first, but I mean, my speculation I told you is that I think Charlotte Flair is done with WWE.
Oh, for sure.
Especially Andrade, her boyfriend, is now in AEW.
Yeah.
And then there was that whole thing where during the match against Rhea Ripley, the crowd was confused and chanting something weird, and so she flipped off the crowd, and it was
Ha.
unscripted. And Peacock tried, and they were very late in blocking it because you got the middle finger. They have images.
Nice.
So
They wound up cutting it out real quick.
yeah, and then like you got the next night you have Nikki ASH be like, oh hey, I'm gonna cash in, and then she beat Charlotte. So I think Charlotte's done. I think they're eventually done with her. A buddy of mine was like, probably not, because like they'll never let her go. She's the female Cena.
Yeah, she is.
She is.
And even though she is a heel, like to the point that like she's and none of that, but she's also like she has a flair name. Like they're not gonna, they don't want to let go of that. That's the name that's basically got carried over from 2 companies ago.
Yeah, but I think eventually she's done. I don't think there's gonna be a contract renewal.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they're gonna let her go, but I think she's not gonna resign.
Yeah, especially seeing the way that things are going everywhere else. Yeah. even though the thing is like now when it comes to that, like I don't think that them carrying over a bunch of these other wrestlers over to AEW would be what AEW wants to do, because this past week, of course, we had Chavo Guerrero show up in AEW.
That when you texted me that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Because like, I mean, the Guerrero name, well, one is like the staple in wrestling.
Yeah.
All right, like it goes back to like before Eddie, like it's like
Yeah.
his dad.
Yeah.
And I think their grandfather too.
Mm-hmm.
But like, Chavo hasn't been on TV in a while.
Yeah, because he's been behind the scenes. He's been doing everything in at the Performance Center and all this shit.
Yeah, so if he's doing like Performance Center stuff to just, ta-da, he's like the new face of AEW. Like, whoa! I mean, things must be going really sour there. That they were like, oh hey, we'll give you like $1 more in your contract.
Yeah.
And now he's the new face of AEW.
Yeah.
Because, right, I mean, something must be going wrong with WWE. Because think about all those layoffs like a month ago.
Yeah, dude. Not just a month ago. For like fucking like 3-4 months, all they did was lay everybody off.
I know, and it's like, how long before Braun Strowman hits AEW?
Yeah. And then the last one that came through was fucking Malachi Black, or who was Aleister Black back in AEW,
Right.
in WWE.
Aleister Black literally had a vignette segment schedule leading into his return. And then just like that, he was cut.
Yeah. He came back for one day.
That's right. He came back for the one show, and then gone. And it's like, and he was one of the ones that Edge wanted to wrestle, because if you remember, excuse me, if you remember Edge's promo when he came back to the first Monday Night Raw after the Royal Rumble in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely.
He names all these people, and he's like, Aleister Black. So clearly, like, if somebody like Adam Copeland thinks that you're good and wants to work with you, you're good.
Yeah.
But then to have a string of vignettes and then one literal appearance.
Yep.
And
literally
like that,
one appearance. Yep.
And just like that, you're done. And then, oh man, like something must be going on with that company. Like,
oh yeah.
But
it's sad, dude.
It's sad. I mean, WWE is not. It'll never go bankrupt, but it'll never be what it was.
Oh no, absolutely. It's never gonna be the way it was.
No. As long as McMahon is still controlling it, it's just gonna still be the same old thing.
And that's not going away.
No.
Especially like the fact that like they could Stephanie do something different, or could Triple H? Because Triple H is technically like behind a lot of shit.
Yeah. If Triple H ran it like if Triple H would get it and run it like he does NXT, sure. But I don't see that company doing anything outside of the same old same shit.
Oh, for sure not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're stuck in their ways, and that's not gonna change anytime soon. No. That's the shitty shit. But instead of talking about shitty shit, we can talk about fucking Slammiversary. Slammiversary, on the other hand, was a completely different thing. Slammiversary was the big pay per view for Impact Wrestling, or formerly TNA, um, and it started off with the women's tag champions, the women's tag title changing hands, which we barely saw on fucking Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Great match, and that was the free match. That was the match that was on like the YouTube page, so you can go to the YouTube and you can see that match. Pretty good match. And these are both uh the women that won aren't technically they're technically heels. They're goths and shit.
Okay.
They wear the face makeup and they kind of do the whole brood thing. And one of the dudes in that stable called they call the stable Decay, and he wears like the Baphomet helmet and shit with the horns and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking crazy, really fucking good though. They're a really good team. But yeah, they won, and that was fucking cool. And then it started off with the main pay per view started off with the X Division Championship. Um, Basically, kind of what would technically be their version of the Money in the Bank or whatever. So they had to climb up to the top of the ring because they have a big X on the top of the ring, and they have to climb up to that X and pull down the belt. Whoever pulls down the belt wins.
Okay.
Some of the most insane moves happened during that fucking thing. High flyers, crazy shit. There was this one move that five of them pretty much got like a human centipede type thing, and they all slammed each other at the same time. Fucking nuts. Really fucking good. It's something that you're like, holy shit, I gotta watch this. It's fucking good. It's good fucking wrestling throughout the entire thing. And then I guess fast forward a little bit. We got to see Matt Cardona, who was Zack Ryder in fucking AEW in WWE. He comes out with it's like a mixed tag match, and it's against Brian Myers and whatever the fuck her name is. And they're like, oh yeah, it's a mystery woman or whatever that's gonna be coming in to fight her or whatever. And it turns out that it's actually they were fighting Tennille Dashwood, who's she's a influencer, they call her or whatever on the show, and she's always taking pictures for her Instagram and shit before she gets into the ring. And then they're like, oh yeah, this mystery person's coming in, and it turns out that it's actually his fiance, Chelsea Green. Yeah, that was fucking dope. That was really cool. Turns out that Chelsea Green is actually like she's also the week before she basically came out in Ring of Honor. So she's in Ring of Honor, and now she's also in Impact. She's all over the place too. So the fact that all these companies are feeding off of each other is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and whichever company she officially signs with will use her.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah, dude. Like, let somebody else that has the vision to fucking do these things. But no, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that over here in Connecticut land.
Nope.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, then the final match of the evening was Kenny Omega, the AEW and Impact Wrestling champ, went up against Sami Callihan in a no DQ match.
Okay.
This was within the week the first time that we saw forks used in a match, and then later on in the week we saw on Dynamite forks used in a match.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why you saw. That's why on Instagram, on Twitter, I posted. Forky is all elite. Yeah. But dude, it was so fucking good. It was definitely a hardcore match because Sammy Callahan, he's been on the Indies. He's done a lot of fucking hardcore matches. That's his thing. That's what he does. He does a lot of hardcore matches, a lot of death matches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking good against Kenny Omega, who's technically like what people would consider the best wrestler in wrestling today, by far.
Yeah.
He's fucking fantastic. That's why he has fucking 3 titles. He has the AEW title, Impact title, and he also has the AAA title, which is something that from fucking all the way in Mexico. He has the title too. Fucking nuts, dude. And then at the end, after the match or whatever, of course, Omega won. But at the end of the match, you see Bullet Club, fucking what's his face, the Switchblade, show up to the ring. So Switchblade, Jay White, shows up out of nowhere because you're not expecting fucking him to show up because, of course, it's a totally different organization.
Right.
And he's there. And everybody's like, holy shit, are they reuniting the book? Because that's actually like, it's a different faction. You would think that we're all the Bullet Club. No, it's not, because they had beef before.
Right.
So Jay White is actually the new leader of the Bullet Club, and Kenny Omega and them were part of a different part of the Bullet Club that will actually turn out being the Elite now. So kind of opens up to the whole point that like, oh yeah, it's gonna be the Elite versus the Bullet Club eventually. So 2 totally different technically like 3 or 4 different organizations coming together at one point. And then when you fast forward just a little bit more, on Dynamite this week, we had Jon Moxley go up against Lance Archer, and that was for the IWGP US Championship, which is a big Japanese company or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Lance and it was a Texas death match. So whoever couldn't get up from the match is the winner.
Oh shit.
So it was basically like, it's like a last man standing, but it's like a death match, last man standing. Fucking crazy good match on regular TV, on TNT.
That's wild.
Yeah. And Lance Archer winds up winning the match. Of course, this is also the match where you had the fork. The fork was also used in this match as well.
Oh jeez.
So there was blood everywhere. Lance Archer at the end winds up throwing Jon Moxley into 2 tables that are covered in barbed wire. And that's how Jon Moxley couldn't come out of it anymore. That's why he wound up winning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Moxley is just fucking nuts.
Yeah, he's fucking insane. And then now he's just that. Okay, that was nuts. But then Chris Jericho's also doing a bunch of shit. And it turns out that he's doing these matches for the 5 the 5 lessons or whatever the fuck it's called for MJF. Basically to leading up to him having another match with MJF.
Okay.
The first match was against Shawn Spears. And Shawn Spears, of course, he was in WWE before, or in NXT or whatever. But he also he's technically considered the chairman in this, and it was a chairs match. Like chairs are allowed to be used, but Chris Jericho cannot use a chair.
Okay.
Shit happens throughout the match. Chris Jericho winds up winning it. Sammy Guevara comes in. He kind of interferes, but the ref doesn't see anything happening. MJF at the end of the match comes out. He's like, yo, you can't win this like this. You can't be, having your cronies come out and help or whatever from the inner circle. You can't have them come out. And then we have MJF was like, yo, like, yeah, you're a badass. You do, these crazy things or whatever. And then he's like, oh, but you never faced a person that stabbed somebody, a person that's been to jail, a person that's cut somebody up. And then he brings out fucking Nick Gage. One of the baddest of badasses in fucking wrestling in general. So Nick Gage is gonna be facing Chris Jericho next week on Dynamite.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. And this is and later on in Dynamite, Jericho's like, oh, he comes out, he's turned around, he's talking to one of the interviewers or whatever, Alex Apprehenders or whatever, and he's talking to him and he's like, yo, like things are gonna be different next match or whatever. You want to bring somebody hardcore, I'll bring you somebody hardcore. And he's gonna come back with fucking Painkiller, who was the one that was in New Japan back in the day, a few years ago. And that's fucking dope, dude. It's gonna have hardcoreness and AEW's again. More crazy, badass wrestling. And I love it. I fucking love it. So much crazy wrestling.
Well, I think I told you, right? At New York Comic Con in 2019, I got that video of MJF going into the crowd, like as a fan, dressed up as Painkiller, and like there was more energy, and Alex could witness, like he was a witness, like there was more energy and excitement out of that like small little panel that I had at like the last like 6 WWE shows.
Yeah.
And that was 2019, where AEW was just really becoming AEW.
Yeah.
And they were chanting out AEW like ECW in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's where it's at. They're
fucking dope.
They're not going away.
No, they're not.
They're actually taking over.
Yeah, they are.
And as you showed me that tweet by Simon Miller of What Culture, and they're becoming the Smash Brothers of wrestling.
Yeah.
It's fucking true.
Yeah. They're bringing everybody. Yeah. And then, of course, this week, 2 things that came out this week, basically online. They haven't made anything official on, from AEW, basically saying that Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson has signed on to AEW. And then earlier today...
What's the thing I sent you up about possibly Punk in the done deal?
Yeah. What the fuck?
I know. Punk, who hasn't been in a ring
in years,
not counting UFC, because nobody counts that.
Yeah, nobody counts that. He doesn't even count that. He's like, yeah, that don't count.
Although they overturned one of those matches. I don't know if you read that.
I did not read that,
so
but
he technically won a match. They overturned it like years later. So he's not
like, we're just what it is that they're like, let's just give it to him.
Right.
It's okay.
He got his ass whooped, legitimate, but no, he won.
Yeah, he has a celebrity name. We'll give it to him.
And so, so I was actually talking this over with my buddy John earlier today. So when it comes down to themes, technically, Punk could use Living Color's Cult of Personality, because WWE doesn't own the rights to that.
Yeah.
So
all fucking TK has to do is buy the rights for it.
Yep. Just basically pay the label. Like, hey, he's here. And they'll gladly be like, oh yeah, well. And
dude, Tony Khan has been doing so much good shit with music in the AEW. Dude, he has fucking John Moxley coming out to fucking Wild Thing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
He has fucking Orange Cassidy coming out to the Pixies. Like, seriously?
Tony Khan is a fucking genius, man.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I heard he was like bad-mouthing AEW. Well, trash-talking AEW, WWE at a show or some shit.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't trash talking. What he was saying was like, yo, like, That was basically this week at Dallas or whatever. It was after the show, because they record their dynamite, the dynamite, of course, and then they also have dark matches and stuff afterwards. They have the dark and they have dark elevation, and he was basically saying like, "Yo, like we don't have a performance center like they do. Like we bring you everything that we have."
Right, this is the performance. Yeah.
This is the performance. This is what you guys see is what you guys get. This is what you guys will see forever. We're showing you these young up and comers, and you get to see them before they become what you see on regular TV.
Yeah.
And that's what it's fucking fantastic, dude.
Like, I mean, it's just they're not going away. They're getting bigger.
No, they're not. They are not going away anywhere anytime soon. Unless some crazy shit happens that they shit the fucking bed somehow, which I highly doubt. I highly doubt that happening.
It's like they saw what other companies did and tried to do and fail on, and they're like, nope, we're gonna go the opposite route.
Absolutely. Because they saw that, okay, this is where we failed. Because Tony Khan, of course, he loves wrestling.
Yeah.
Like he is a fan of wrestling.
You could see it.
Yeah. Dude, he knows so much fucking wrestling, and he's basically he's like a human almanac for wrestling and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows everything, that every single match, he knows every single person, he knows everything that's there for fucking wrestling. Yeah. So like the fact that he is a person that is a fan of it is what makes it that much better.
Oh yeah.
Because he knows what's basically going on everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows what's happening over there, and he knows that okay, we can't go that route because that's stupid. We can't go that route because that's being done over there. We can't continue the same shit that we've seen for the last 15 years.
Right.
Let's do something different. Let's not have a writing team to bring out stories that some of these people don't want to do.
Exactly.
Let's do our own thing. Like I'll give you an outline of what should happen, but you guys perform it the way you gotta perform it.
Yeah.
Like he predetermines the matches and shit like that, but of course, which is what happens, obviously. But at that point, he's like, yo, like you guys are in control of whatever you want to do. And that's why also he started getting other people, like he just recently got Mark Henry in there as well. He's like, yo, like I'm here to basically tell them, like, okay, yeah, listen, we can't have every match look the exact same way. So we're going to change things a little differently because a lot of the matches at one point started to look the same. There were a lot of things happening that were starting to look exactly the same.
Well, you see how quickly that got corrected.
Oh yeah. And that's what I love about it. Like he just goes in, he's like, yo, like let's do this way. Let's do this the other way. And it works.
It does.
It's fucking great. We've been going a long time on wrestling.
I know. We should get into other
shit. Yeah, let's get into some fucking geek shit. We've had a lot of shit this week as well.
This kind of makes me miss the wrestling podcast.
In a way, we kind of have like our own little, our own little hole in the wall instead of just, the ICGPW Slamcast.
And it's nice to be able to talk into a microphone like proper, like a professional podcast.
Yeah, of course. That's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. That's why I've always loved doing it that way. Yeah. But okay, we've been geeking out about wrestling, but there's other shit to geek out about.
Yes.
There's a lot more shit to geek out about. And the first thing, something that I was actually a fan of back in the day was actually Dead Space.
Dead Space.
It was a video game that came out a few years ago, like 10 years ago or so.
Something like that, yeah.
And they're remaking it for PlayStation 5 and the next gen. Yeah. And that's fucking dope because, of course, it was one of the, I'm not going to say one of the first horror game movies or whatever, but it was a fun one.
It was one of the staples in that horror genre.
Yeah. It was fucking fantastic. Because it kind of goes by the whole thing of, nobody really hears you scream in space. It's fucking good, dude. So the fact that they're doing that for, for the next gen, it's pretty interesting. I want to see what they're gonna do with that.
Same.
Hell yeah. Another thing that came out is basically has to do with Marvel stuff. Yay, Marvel!
Yay, Marvel.
Of course, we've had a bunch of shit coming out from Marvel. We've had we've had the Loki, we've had WandaVision, we've had what was the other one? Falcon Winter Soldier. But we also got news that Marvel's gonna be putting out on top of What If that comes out next month in a few weeks actually. Um, they're still gonna put out 2 more shows this year. They aren't gonna wait for 2022. They're gonna put both of them out, and the 2 shows are Hawkeye and Miss Marvel. Are both gonna be coming out this year, which is something that we weren't expecting because they were like, oh yeah, they're gonna basically spread everything out for the next couple of years.
I mean, I could have sworn Hawkeye was definite for this year anyway, and as we discussed last week, Florence Poe, she's gonna be Elena in the show.
Yeah.
You're most likely. I mean, it wasn't shown on IMDb, but you're most likely getting Julie Louis-Dreyfus back as Valentina.
Yes.
So the fact that we're getting a Hawkeye show in general is going to be great, and it's going to be based off the My Life as a Weapon story, which I think is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, I'm getting thrown off a building today. Help, and Shield just comes out of nowhere. So I like that element.
But how would that work? Because technically Shield isn't around anymore.
We gotta wait and see.
Yeah. But it is interesting.
It's interesting. I'm excited about the Hawkeye show. I wanted a Hawkeye show for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we're finally getting shows based off these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And
but not just shows and movies, because of course these characters are in all the movies as well.
Right.
That's the shit that you're just like, fuck, dude. Like I would have never thought that I would see something that I used to read back in the day.
I mean,
like on the big screen.
Think about it. Think about 2008. You ever think you'd see a live-action Iron Man movie? I never thought so.
No.
I mean,
and this past week was actually the anniversary of fucking the first Avenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I remember seeing that in theaters and going, wow, I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had what you and I agree is the best movie in the MCU is Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I agree. It's good. You know, it's great, actually.
It's still a spy thriller with Captain America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, you know, just knowing that was even almost 10 years ago, like, just think back, like, whoa. But the MCU has come a long way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's grown into this, like, monster.
Yeah.
It's
fucking nuts.
Yeah. And so the fact that we're getting a Hawkeye show, because Jeremy Renner is great as Hawkeye, and he adds so much to the character. Like, think about Ultron, where he's like, and I have a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
But the fact we're also getting a Miss Marvel show is going to be great.
Yeah, dude.
It's Kamala Khan, right?
Yeah, it's Kamala Khan. Yep. Yeah, because this is technically the first thing that we've seen of the character, because technically this character is a newer character. She's a newer comic book hero. We haven't seen her in anything, especially in the MCU. But this also kind of solidifies the fact that like we are technically going to be getting some type of like Young Avengers in a way eventually.
Yeah.
And the fact that like this is also like the first, you know, like Indian American character that we have in the MCU as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
And those images that were released like a month or so ago, the leaked images, like I think the costume looks great. She looks fantastic as the character.
She looks awesome. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a lot of people were complaining that, oh yeah, she's probably not a good actress and shit. And I'm like, oh, whatever, dude. Like, it's a fucking kid, dude. Like, what the fuck do you expect? Do you expect fucking Oscar-winning acting? Jesus Christ. Actor, yeah, that's the best.
Actor, yes. Episode 257, actoring at its best.
Yeah. Oh, that was awful.
And, I mean, in the Avengers game for the PlayStation systems, like, Kamala Khan was primarily the main character in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because whatever the story was, like the Avengers, you know, break up, like, you know, and then like she's the star, like trying to like she wins a contest, and then shit happens, and she becomes, you know, with the ability, and she like, you know, like it becomes her game.
It becomes her thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
and so that's great that we're like getting to see more of that character.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Hell yeah.
And now I'm looking forward to the live action.
Fuck yeah, dude! I can't wait. Like I've read a few of the issues. I think I read the first arc or whatever, and it was actually really good. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with the rest of it and what they're gonna do with the show in general. It's gonna be fucking dope. I'm excited for it. Then another thing that technically it's part of, you know, the Marvel universe. We know that Marvel is doing the Secret Invasion.
Yes.
And that is fucking cool. But we also got news that Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones is going to be part of the Secret Invasion. That's going to be fucking dope. Because she's a great fucking actress. And I did enjoy her in fucking Game of Thrones. And I enjoyed her a little bit in the Terminator movies. But she's also pretty good in fucking Solo as well.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm excited to see what she's going to do with this.
Didn't she confirm it on, like, Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Because it technically is right now, like it is Comic-Con week or whatever.
It is. There would be San Diego right now.
Right, yeah. It's another year of Comic-Con at home.
Yeah.
For you know the San Diego peoples, but yeah, dude. I want to see what they're gonna do with this. Like,
Same. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm all in on this shit. Like, yes, give me this. Like, is she gonna be a Krull? Is she gonna be a fucking Kree? Because technically, at this point, we know they're gonna be. They already have Krulls in there. So, like, oh, when are they gonna start bringing out the Kree? Like, is she gonna be in that, or is she gonna be, you know, what is she gonna do? Where is she going?
And I like that Marvel's doing this, like, not just the Avengers storyline.
Yeah,
they're doing other side stories that are out there. Like,
yeah.
I mean, shit. When was the last time you read a What If comic? For me, it's been about 25 years.
Exactly.
You know, when did we read Secret Invasion last? For me, it's probably a really long time. And I think the last time I read Secret Invasion, it was still printed on the old school paper.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that like aged Jello. You know, and then the last Secret Invasion I read is when they redid it, but had Deadpool Secret Invasion.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember that one.
Well, like, he's the reason why the symbiote costume exists for Spider-Man. But, like, like, you don't think on these things until, like,
you never do.
Announce it. Yeah, you're like, oh, I remember, I read that.
I read something like that before.
Right,
yeah.
It exists.
It's out there. Yeah, it's fucking dope, dude.
I'm excited. I can't wait to hear more about it.
Yeah. See, now there's a huge rumor going around, okay? We know Doctor Strange is coming out soon. Yeah. But we also we just spoke about What If. What If it also has a character in there that is Captain Carter, who is Peggy Carter as Captain America.
Yes.
So the rumor has it that in Doctor Strange 2, the multiverse madness or whatever, the madness of what the fuck ever.
Multiverse of Madness, but yes.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. She may be popping up in there.
As like Captain Britain.
Or, you know, Captain Carter or whatever they call her or whatever. Because technically Captain Britain is somebody else. True. But it is interesting to see that they actually might bring her into this as well, because that should be fucking dope.
It would.
Yeah. Because we know that we have, you know, we have now, we saw a fucking Harbor in fucking in Black Widow as, you know, a former superhero. Their version, the Russian version of fucking Captain America.
And
Red Dynamo.
Side note: did you hear David Harbour actually legitly got stuck in the outfit?
Yeah, yeah.
So like him trying it on was like it was sort of a blooper, but they kept it in,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is
And
great.
that's what made it even better. Yeah.
Yeah, because David Harbour is such a lovable
Mm-hmm.
goof.
He's a goofball. Yeah. 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 It fits. Kinda.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm loving what they're doing with all this shit.
Yeah.
Then some other news. On the other side of the table, we got some DC shit.
Mm-hmm.
Some shit that I'm super fucking excited for. Big fan of Batman. And then we got news. Of course, we know that HBO Max is doing pretty much a bazillion things. But they're having a Batman spinoff. Of course, we know. We're getting the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson in the near future. But there's gonna be another spinoff coming to HBO Max, and that's gonna be for Batgirl, something that we've actually spoken about previously. And they finally got a casting for Batgirl, who's gonna be playing Barbara Gordon. And from what we see so far, it's gonna be Leslie Grace. Not that many people know her, but she was in the latest Lin Manuel Miranda's In the Heights,
Gotcha.
and she was actually really good in it. She was really good. So I kind of want to see what they're gonna do with her in as a role of Barbara Gordon or Batgirl, because it could be other versions of Batgirl. It could be anybody else. It could be fucking Stephanie Brown. Could be other people as Batgirl. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be just Barbara Gordon, because of course even in Titan they have another Barbara Gordon. They have Oracle
Yeah.
now in season 3 of Titan. So we have to see what they're gonna do with that. But I'm excited to see that they're actually bringing her character back into into the mainstream, into the big screen. That's gonna be dope.
So, side note about In the Heights. So the lead actor Anthony Ramos actually went to
Mm-hmm.
my high school.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my sister didn't. So my sister's a high school English teacher at New Utrecht, and that's
Uh-huh.
where he went.
Nice.
She didn't teach him, but she still remembers him like running around the halls.
Huh.
So that's pretty fucking dope that he's like a New Utrecht grad. And
That's fucking dope, dude.
See, for this generation, it's him. For my generation, it's Jerry Ferrara, Turtle from Entourage.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think we graduated the same year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's fucking cool.
it's a little side thing,
It's all good. There's nothing wrong with a little side thing from time to time.
but
Depending.
depending.
But yeah. Nothing wrong with a little side conversation. Yes. Then another thing that happened in DC world, something that came out today, not as we speak, but earlier in the day. Something that came out that was fucking crazy for me. Like, I was fucking super excited. Not a fan of the actual character as far as Superman, but we got news that Michael B. Jordan is officially bringing Black Superman to HBO Max, and that is fucking dope.
That's gonna be good. I mean, yes. I never really read the Black Superman story. But I mean, I'll watch it because I think Michael B. Jordan's a fantastic actor.
He's fucking great, dude.
And he's another actor to go both Marvel and DC.
Yeah, it's only right,
It's only right.
Yeah, yeah. So Valzad is gonna be played by Michael B. Jordan.
So
And that's gonna be
basically,
fucking dope.
so like to throw it into a wrestling reference for people, it's basically like DC is the AEW for Marvel Outcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know,
Because he was fucking Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, and then he was Killmonger.
Yeah,
So
he wasn't that bad as Johnny Storm. I liked him as Johnny Storm. The movie's not that good, but him as Johnny Storm wasn't bad.
I still never saw it.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to.
I remember Mario was like, it makes Rise of Silver Surfer looked like an Oscar winner. I was like,
Eesh.
and he texted that from the theater, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna ever watch this film.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some moments that's like okay, kind of cool, but a lot of it's like,
Yeah, no.
it's super cringeworthy. Yeah. And then I guess the final piece.
I was gonna say, and moving on, but yeah.
Yes. The final piece for this week, something that's very interesting, something that's very cool, something that you told me about this week,
Yes.
something that we've actually kind of spoken about on the show as well. Where we are fans of District 9. District 9 is it's awesome fucking flick by Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
And the fact that we finally got word that they are working on District 10.
What?
It's fucking dope.
I
Yes,
love that
that's
movie.
right, Ash.
I love that movie.
That's right, Ash. My son over here. He's like, he's chiming in. That shit is dope.
I love that movie, man. I watched
the
it
last
so many times.
right. So the last thing we saw with District 9 was Charlton Copley's character went out to
Mhm.
space,
Yep.
and the one alien that he helped, who was helping him later on, basically said, "I will find the cure for you. You know, it'll take time." So I wonder how they're gonna write that in, because now it's like 10 years later, legitimately 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder how we're gonna get this going.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Like, oh man, I've only ever seen the movie one time.
What?
Yeah, but like it's one of those things where like it stuck with me. You know, like it just stuck with me because it was that brilliant a film. And actually, it came out. I have it up on IMDb. It's actually 2009.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a long time ago.
Time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, and like Charlton Copley doesn't really act because he was a behind-the-scenes guy before District 9.
Yeah, he still kind of is.
He still kind of is. The last thing I saw him in was he was an Old Boy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
So he's done work since. Like I'm on his.
He was in that movie that he was in the first person movie or whatever, the first person shooter movie.
Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, he was in that.
Okay.
He was Hardcore Henry.
Okay. So he's still sort of behind the scenes in that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. He's gonna be on season 2 of Russian Doll whenever that hits.
I didn't care for the first season. I didn't care for the first episode of the first season of that show. I saw that shit. I was like, what the fuck? Why are they doing it?
It was actually pretty good, but yeah, I'm excited to get a District 10. Especially because because there's gonna be based off a topic in American history. I wonder what they're gonna do.
Yeah, probably slavery. Bring out the slavery.
Well, I could see that, considering the first movie was sort of based off apartheid.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is gonna be dope, man.
It's gonna be awesome, dude.
I can't wait.
All the aliens are slaves and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they rebel and they fucking go crazies and shit. Because it happened. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Super fucking excited. Yay. Anything else you want to add for this week? Oh, we good.
I'm on Screen Rant right now. There's been a couple of rumors going on about the returns of certain Netflix characters in the MCU.
Oh yeah.
So right now, Vincent D'Onofrio liked a tweet about Kingpin's return to be heavily rumored in Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be
which makes sense.
Yeah. And the other thing, which I think is pretty dope, and we all know the heavy rumors about everything going on with this upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's been so many speculation things about everything, especially because it's we're getting Alfred Molina back. There's rumors of Green Goblin,
Mm-hmm.
right? Rumors of Kirsten Dunst. Rumors of what's her name? Fucking
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. There's so many Emmas in Hollywood now.
I know.
So you had all these different rumors coming, all because we're getting a confirmed Alfred Molina, right? The biggest return rumor now that's been ongoing for actually a little bit before is that kind of since the ending of Far From Home, where he was outed as Spider-Man. So the heavy rumors are that Charlie Cox is going to reprise his role as Matt Murdock.
Mm-hmm.
And now the biggest, like, coincidental, not coincidental, we think this is going to happen thing, is that he was supposed to be alongside Kristen Ritter at a signing and canceled his appearance. What makes it odd is that the canceled appearance falls in the same schedule as reshoots for Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, will we see Charlie Cox again? Fingers
That would be
crossed.
dope. That would be dope.
I mean, hopefully he's still sort of the same Matt Murdock, and they didn't just change the character completely.
Right.
And that also makes you wonder, okay, we're getting Charlie, knock on wood, we're getting Charlie Cox back as Daredevil.
Okay.
Will we get Eldon Henson as Froggy again?
That would be cool.
Because I don't see, I can't watch one.
You can't have one without the other. Yeah.
And that means, are we getting what's her name back as Karen Page? Because I mean, the way Daredevil ended, for those who hadn't watched season 3,
But who hasn't? Like it hasn't been that long.
It's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta get Nelson Murdock and Page.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, again, speculation. It's just sort of coincidental that an appearance got canceled at the same time as a reshoot.
Right. Also another rumor from that whole thing is basically dealing with the whole Marvel, Netflix Marvel people.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly one of the actors or actresses in Shang-Chi basically kind of said that they may have Iron Fist in Shang-Chi.
I wonder if I doubt it's going to be the same actor though.
It kind of fits though. Like you could that's that whole universe right there. That all fits together.
It does, especially because we have Abomination showing up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Right?
And not only that, but there's also Think Fan Foom's gonna be there. There's so much shit that it would tie it all together right there.
And I still to this day want a Luke Cage Iron Fist
yes, Heroes for Hire. Yes.
I need that in my life. Especially that one episode of Luke Cage season 2, which totally retconned and fixed everything about Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Danny Rand that we should have gotten.
Mm-hmm. It just took forever to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows what the future holds in the MCU?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
there's so much good there.
To this day, I still want more John Bernthal as Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
We don't know. It could happen.
Who knows? Who knows? It could. Or we just could get Dolph Lundgren again. Who knows? Yes. And I guess that wraps it up for this week. Huh?
He did have the best comic book drawn face for that role, though.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah, dude.
I mean, the really bad black dye job hairstyle, but
that shit was fantastic, dude. That shit was so good.
Oh man. I still like the Thomas Jane Punisher.
I did enjoy that. I wasn't against it. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst.
anybody listening, if you guys are still listening, if you guys even were starting this episode, Thomas Jane Punisher. Someone's saying they can't hear me.
Well, they're gone now, so
Oh,
I
Thomas
hear you
Jane.
perfectly fine.
Oh, okay. So Thomas Jane Punisher, uh, there was a whole story arc that got cut, and this is why I hate this is why I hate when they edit movies for, theatrical release.
Mm-hmm.
There's a director's cut which has about 45 minutes of storyline that they completely erased, and when you watch it with the story reinserted into the movie,
Mm-hmm.
it makes the Punisher so much better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I learned about it by watching it on Spike TV. Okay?
Yeah.
Spike fucking TV. I'm like, wait, that scene wasn't in the movie. Neither
Mm-hmm.
was that one. Neither was that. It's a whole story.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's like watching the director's cut. You're like, wait, this was different. This was not what I originally saw. Kind of like fucking like Justice League.
When you mean it's like 3 hours more of a movie?
Yeah. And the funny shit is, like, a lot of it is still the same, but it looks completely different. And it feels completely different. Like a lot of shit in the Snyder cut. Granted, there's a lot of things that are from the original.
Yeah.
It feels different. Like a lot of it looks the same, but it feels different than it did in the other one,
Well,
which is what made it better.
It's also darker. Like they put the I didn't watch it, but like they put the tint down.
Yeah, dude, they added so much bright ass colors in things that didn't need fucking bright ass colors.
It's basically like watching. I've never done it, but like an acid trip version of the Justice League because it's so bright and rainbow filled.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's honestly what threw me. I mean, I'm also not a fan of Zack Snyder, but like that's what I think threw me off the most about. I watched like 5 minutes of it on HBO, and I'm just like, no. Like, there's a Batman is involved in this movie. It should not be all like, the colors of the rainbow.
No. Yeah, that's what I liked about the Snyder version. The fact that it isn't as bright and colorful.
It's from what I've seen of it, it's dark and gritty.
It absolutely is. And they even put out like it's not even a special edition, but they actually did do a gray version of it all. So
yeah,
you even watch that shit. That shit is fucking dope too. Like I actually I enjoy it. Like it's 4 hours long, but it doesn't feel like 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. It's worth a watch. After you watch Slammiversary though. Yeah, dude, that wraps it up for this week. So make sure you guys go to InnerCityGeeks.net where we have a whole bunch of shit. Sometimes we got this show. We have Brighter J Presents, who should be doing some stuff later. Not necessarily now, but I know he's busy with the children's and shit.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
I got stuff happening eventually.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's gonna take time, but I got stuff.
Eventually, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
We got this show. We got that. We got It's Poppin'. We got for Inner City Geeks First Watch. We got Inner City Geeks Turntable, the ICGPW Slamcast, Comics Sabor, Manga Time, Anime World, whole bunch of random shit. There's like I said, a whole bunch of shit sometimes. Go check all that shit out. We also have links on there to Amazon. You get first month free of Amazon Prime. We got or you can just buy shit on there. Just click the link and go buy stuff, and we get credit for it. Cause why the fuck not, right? Like, dude, it's not taking anything out of your pocket. It's just gonna give us a little bit of that too. So go do that. Then there's also a link to So Sick Clothing Company. You get some cool clothings and stuff. And it's a clothing.co. And you can type in Inner City Geeks for 15% off. Then there's a Beardly stuff, some Beardly goodness. Go to beardoctane.com and type in ICG10 for 10% off of all your beardly goodness. So like beard balms, beard oils. Yeah, you might get some from there, Brian.
I should.
Um, beard balms, beard oils, uh, a whole bunch of utensils for your beard and shit. You can get all that shit from there. And they have the leave-in conditioner. It's actually a really good leave-in conditioner. Um, makes your beard all healthy and stuff. So go check that shit out. Then there's also cbdMD. Get some CBD shit from there. Tinctures, all that shit. Good shit. And it's that's not too pricey. So go check that shit out. Also, the final place that you can check out some Sideshow collectibles, because Sideshow collectibles is fucking dope. They got a lot of cool shit on there, and it's fucking dope. Click the link and go over there and go get some shit. You can find the show on, where is it? Stitcher Radio, on Google Podcasts, on SoundCloud, and my fucking favorite, motherfucking Spotify, dude. Motherfucking Spotify. Yeah. It's a great place to listen to podcasts, so go check that shit out on there. Then you can find the show on the socials on the Facey Space. So faceyspace.com/InnerCityGeeks, Instagram at InnerCityGeeks, Twitter at InnerCityGeeks. And where can we find you, sir?
You can find me, actually sounding clear on a new microphone, courtesy of
Yay. Round of applause.
Yay. You can find me on Twitter at BRI_2J on Twitter, Bright2J. You can, of course, find me on Instagram at BRI2J. And if you want to follow the channel, Bright2J Presents, all one word. Find me on YouTube, Bright2J Presents. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I will have content eventually, somewhere in the near future. And then, of course, check out bright2jpresents.com and the stuff coming.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, eventually. But yeah, that's about it.
Hell yeah. Oh, one more movie that I watched this week that was actually pretty good. Tax Collector on Hulu. That shit is dope. Check that shit out.
Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
Is that the one where he legitimately got tattooed for?
Yeah. It's fucking good, dude. It's a good gangster flick.
Okay.
It's kind of like Training Day, but with Mexicans. It's fucking good.
I'm trying to think. Did I watch one more thing? Oh man, I watched so much shit.
Yeah, and that's why I read it down. I read it all down.
Oh, I know.
So,
I finally finished it. I started it like a month ago and finally finished it. The Clove Hitch Killer.
Okay.
Or Clove Hitch. It's with Dylan McDermott. About like I want to say Samantha Mathis, and it's like a story about like this father who's actually like a serial killer.
Nice.
It was dark as fuck.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, watch that shit.
Oh, I definitely will.
Yeah.
I'm
sure I watched other things. I just don't remember right now.
It's all good. I'm pretty sure by next week we'll watch a whole bunch more shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we find you Bright2J all over the place. You guys can find me on the Instagram and the Twitter at Mr. Jackal, MisterJackal. And wraps it up for this week. And before we go, this will be in the edits, of course, not in the live show right now. But outro song for the week. It's gonna be a song by a dude that we've actually covered on the episodes before previously in one of our older episodes, because we have a bunch of episodes now. But the dude we're talking about is Mark Tremonti, formerly of Creed, also of what's the other band that he's with? Miles Kennedy, Alter Bridge. Yes, and he came out with a new song this week, and it's fucking dope.
I've listened to it like 100 times already.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Fucking great. What is the name of the song again? Yeah, it's something by Tremonti. It's fucking good, dude. Check it out. And say goodbye, Brian.
Goodbye. Enjoy the song.
Yes. And don't be a dick. But always remember that the geeks should inherit the earth.